Okay, so you should have just completed the rationale for question one, and now we're moving on to question two. Again, let's preview this question. Which of the following sentences, if placed before sentence one, would blah, 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 blah. Okay, I just needed to get a sense of what I'm working with. I don't see an italicized sentence here, so that means that I am not going to have as it is, right, for answer choice A. I'm actually going to have 5 different answer choices that are brand new, that are not a part of the text already. So your brain will get used to scoping what you see in front of you before the actual answer choice A. It's super important that you go there first to know what type of a question you're working with. So as a team, you're going to review the question, and then you're going to find the verbs in the question. So what do I mean by that? So everything after which of the following sentences, yes, if placed before is a verb phrase. However, we want to find the verb phrase that comes after that whole introduction, right? So we know that we need to for sure find if placed before sentence one. That is important. That is our first verb phrase. That gives us the location. Remember last question, we found the location of preview. So it's always important to isolate the location of where they're asking you to look. And so this is before sentence one. Then find the next verb. And the next verb is provide. The next verb is orient. So orient would be like to locate, so or to position. So to orient the audience, right? To position the audience and provide or introduce something to the audience and provide an engaging introduction to the topic of the first paragraph. Super important that they're asking us, put it into your own words. So take a moment to sit with your partner, decide how you would put this question into your own words, press pause, and then we'll return. Okay, so by now you've put it into your own words, specifically that last part of the question. And so if I was putting this into my own words, I would say, look, I'm trying to find the sentence that should be the very first sentence of this essay or this passage, like what would make a better first sentence. And then as a first sentence, I'm looking for it to do 2 things: to introduce the audience to this whole topic, and then to be engaging. And so we already know that first sentences of essays are the introductions to the topic. Not the thesis, not the claim, but we're getting the audience engaged. So super important that in your own wording, you've said something like, I'm looking for the very first sentence of this essay, and it should be engaging. Okay, so very important to put the question into your own words so that you internalize it. And again, it's not going to take this long. The more you do this, it will become a faster process. Now, very important. I know a couple of minutes ago I said you must find the argument or the main claim or the thesis before you begin to answer these questions. And this becomes important for this particular question. Even though they're asking us for the first sentence of the entire essay, they're going to have a trick question in here. And they're going to have one that sounds like it's very engaging and can be the first sentence of an essay, but it doesn't match the thesis or the claim, what they're trying to prove. So right now, pause the video and think about and put it into your own words out loud. What is this essay trying to prove? What is the main claim or the argument? Locate that sentence and be sure that you name it. So that thesis is sentence 3. We know that, we just dealt with it, but I wanted you to find it again on your own, that both cats and dogs become domesticated, right? So it's about the process of the cats and dogs becoming domesticated. So now that you have identified the thesis or the main claim that cats and dogs become domesticated. You are now going to read through the answer choices for introducing the entire essay. And we know that they need to be, it needs to introduce us, right, to the thesis, and it also needs to be engaging. So right now, with your partner or by yourself, read through the 5 different answer choices. You're not reading for the right answer. You're reading to eliminate any answer choice that is not engaging and that does not introduce us to the thesis or argument that describes how cats and dogs become domesticated. And I will check back with you after you pause to see which answer choices you have eliminated. So now that we have eliminated some answer choices, let's just go back to get straight in our head what this so-called claim, or it's not so much a thesis because there's not really a debatable statement within here, but what is this claim that we're dealing with, or what is this topic? And if I'm looking at 3, right? Sentence 3, both species domesticated themselves by joining humans, ensuring their place besides humans. So is this passage about the relationship between humans and their animals? Or is it about the process in which, or how pets, dogs and cats become domesticated? So you'll know, in order to answer that, we need to read through the entire passage, and we'll know that it's not about human beings, right? They say that they became domesticated to take their place next to human beings, but it's tricking you. So just because the human beings phrase is in that topic sentence or that claim does not mean that it's about humans. So let's just do process of elimination. I know that you have already eliminated some of yours. I usually get it down to with 2 remaining and then have to weigh the 2 options. So I eliminated A, the process of domestication varies by species. That's just too broad. We're not talking about any species at all. This essay is all about cats and dogs, and I know that it needs to orient the audience and provide an introduction, engaging introduction to the topic of this first paragraph. So I'm going to cross that out. B, as any pet owner knows, dogs and cats are very different. All right, I do know that I need something to show the difference between cats and dogs. So, I'm not sure about the beginning part of this sentence, as any pet owner knows. I mean, it kind of engages the audience because it brings in possible pet owners, right? And makes that connection. I don't love it, but I'm going to keep it and just put like a question mark in my head next to it. C, domestication is the taming of an animal and then keeping it as a pet or as a farm animal. This is an explanation of domestication. Also, I don't see anything specific to cats and dogs, and I see a new topic of farm animals. So this definitely does not match my thinking, and I'm going to cross it out. And then D, the natural instincts of dogs and cats toward one another are usually antagonistic, but pet owners can help foster friendly relationships between their pets. If I go back to what I have straight in my head, right, I took the time to make sure I understood the claim or the topic, right? This does not match because we're not talking about that antagonistic relationship. We're also not putting the emphasis on what pet owners do. It's not about the relationships between them and their pets. So I'm going to cross that out. E, the personality of cat owners and dog owners are as different as the personalities of the pets they prefer. This might trick me because I do see that word different, and I know that I'm dealing with the difference between cats and dogs, but if I really sit with it and logically compare it next to what is in my head from that topic sentence, sentence 3, there's nothing about really how humans, right, talk about their preference and how the personality matches. Even though I didn't love it, it wasn't like probably one that I would write, I'm going to go with B. And that's very important. It's not about you coming up with a better one in your head and then saying, none of these are great, right? It's about saying, out of the 5 in front of me, your job is to choose the best possible one. So this one is B. Take a moment to complete question 2 rationale, and then we'll press pause, and then we'll come back for question 3.